Spurs have won their first game in 118 days. If you haven't already, that is a QR code to get your player ratings in. Link is in the live chat as well. Let's start off with Antonin Kinsky, 8s all round. Again, the thing's gone. It was there before.
Oh.
Anyway, 8.5.
I know. Yeah.
8.5 for you guys. 8s all round for us. And yeah, look, did his job. Did everything that he could do in the game. Match-winning save right at the end, which everyone's going to be talking about. But I think his ball-playing ability, the calmness he brings to the back line, I think is just fantastic. I'm so happy with him in goal so far.
Yeah, I think I'm delighted for him because it's not easy coming back from the situation that he had in Madrid. That is one of those iconic moments that a lot of people remember forever. So the fact that he's recovered from that is brilliant. But had a great game. A lot of people saying should be keeping his place now. This should be the number one keeper. I think he's had a really good past 3 games, and obviously he's going to have tougher tests. He had, but that big save right at the end. You know, we could be looking back at that as a save that kept us in the Premier League. Could very well do.
Yeah.
And then he'll be an absolute hero. But yeah, I think deservedly gets plaudits. A lot more short than Vicario, so deserves his 8.
Next up is Pedro Porro, 6s all round from us, 6.7 from you guys out there. I mean, he put a lot of crosses on the day, and it was definitely not for the want of trying. I thought I saw a good energy and a good mentality about him, but I thought a lot of his delivery was poor. There was one really nice pass to Xavi, cut across the pitch, and obviously we created a big chance from that. But it's just too and few and far between, and I think for a guy of his quality, needs to be doing more, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the game. Defensively, I don't think he came under too much pressure, and I think he dealt with most things that came his way.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with him. I mean, he didn't have his best game, but I thought, as you say, set pieces was a big thing, and he was the one taking them, and I thought he looked dangerous from them. He set up that chance for Xavi. So even in a game that wasn't his best, he still did quite a bit. Defensively, I thought, I mean, Mane was there, wasn't he? But he didn't really trouble him too much. So I gave him a 6. Wasn't bad, wasn't great.
Next up, Kevin Danso, 6 from me, 7 from you, 6.9 from you guys. Yeah, look, I thought he was the worst of the pair of between him and Van de Ven. I don't think he did too much wrong, to be fair. It's just like, it gets very frustrating with his heavy passes out the back. You know, doesn't do too well from that aspect. And look, he had to get bailed out at one point by Antonin Kinsky. So, look, decent performance. Didn't do too much wrong, but it just wasn't a sensational performance.
Yeah, he definitely got lucky with that moment, for sure. I don't know why he panicked so much. He's being chased by Adam Armstrong, but he should have full control of that situation. But panicked, tried to head it back, and just left it short, and Kinsky had to bail him out. Other than that, I thought it was okay. Swung in a few long throws, which didn't really come to anything, but that was something we were trying to do. Wasn't really a threat from set pieces, but I just thought defensively was solid. Didn't really give much away. If more came of that late error, probably a bit harsh on him, so he was a bit lucky. But I thought
was it him that gave away the free kick at the end as well?
Might have been.
I thought it was a sloppy foul to give away at that moment in the game as well.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
Next up is Mickey Van de Ven, 7 from me, 8 from you guys. 8 from Sim, 6.9 from you guys. I thought he was fantastic. I thought nothing got past him throughout the day. I thought he was, it was a quieter day for our defensive line because Wolves didn't offer much, but everything that came his way, I thought he just dealt with really well in the air, on the ground. I think there's been a different mentality from him over the past couple of games, wearing the captain's armband with pride, showing good passion, showing grit. So I'm happy with Van de Ven over the last couple of games. Yeah,
I thought another really strong showing. I thought he just dominated, didn't he? He dominated that back line. I thought as good as he was against Brighton. I think probably had less to deal with defensively. I think he was taking a lot of responsibility. I thought it was a good performance.
I think there were a lot of moments as well where Jed was high up the pitch and he had to cover on that left-back position. I think he did that really well as well. Jed Spence, 6s all round for Jed. You guys have given him a 6.5. Look, early doors, I thought, he was causing a bit of a problem down that left-hand side, taking on men, trying to influence the attack. But that kind of weaned out the game pretty soon, and he didn't have too much of an impact going forward for the majority of it. Defensively, I think he did all right. It was just a bit of a okay. It was good before. It was okay. It was nothing great, nothing bad. It was okay.
Exactly what I thought it would be. Like we struggled to like attack down that side because he wasn't really stretching the pitch as much. He wasn't really an attacking threat. We need all our players to kind of, at the moment, especially in this kind of game where you're against a Wolves side who's going to make it difficult for you. You need everyone trying to stretch the play and trying to create openings, and Spence just doesn't really do that. Defensively fine, but a bit frustrating going forward, I felt.
Next up is Rodrigo Bentancur, 7s all round from us. You guys have given him a 7.8.
Ooh.
He was my man of the match. I felt like I said before.
Kinsky an 8.
Yeah, I know, but that was just because of the moment. But I think in terms of like the 90 minutes, I felt like he was our best player on a whole. I felt at times, he's able to dictate the tempo of the game. Like I said against Brighton, quicken it up, slow it down at times. So much coolness, calmness, composure. Just gets the ball ticking, and he's the only one in that middle of the park that shows any sort of ability on the ball. So I'm loving what he's bringing to the team, and he's got bite in him as well. Is the amount of interceptions and tackles on the day. I think he set himself apart from the rest of the midfielders that we have.
Yeah, another promising display from Rodrigo. So really great to have him back. I think he just gives us a little bit of assuredness in that middle, which we haven't had. And I think the difference between someone like him and Gray is, look, Gray's done really well over the last few weeks when he was starting. But I think physically he's just so much more dominant rather than Gray's just more competitive. Whereas Bentancur's just more dominant in the middle due to his, he's got a few years on him and he's not a teenager. So I think he just makes such a big difference, and really great to have him back.
Yeah, you know what? I was saying to Ash on the watch along, like, Bentancur gets a lot of shit from I've given it to him in the past, everyone's given it to him in the past, and the narrative around him. But the reality is, if you look at actually what Rodrigo Bentancur is, he's a highly experienced central midfielder that has been there, done it in the Italian league, won multiple Serie A's. Mm-hmm. So he's a high quality player, isn't he? And I think maybe we're a bit too harsh on him sometimes.
Maybe because we expect more from him. I think we're all just hoping he gets back to that form that we used to see from him, and he just never has. And it's sad in a way, but look, he is a very good player, and I think over the last few years, I think he's probably gotten way too much criticism than deserved.
Next up is Yves Bissouma. I've given him a 5. You've given him a 6. You guys out there have given him a 7. So you guys are pretty happy with Yves. I think he did a very good job in protecting the back four, but I want to see a lot more from Yves Bissouma on the ball. I don't think we saw much of it in this game, and we know with Yves Bissouma, he's got the ability on the ball. He's got the ability to drive forward, take on his man, pass the ball forward, and we're just not seeing that enough, in my opinion. So that's why I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think we're just playing it too safe. I think definitely when Yves Bissouma is at his best is when he's turning his man, bursting into the space, playing the ball forward quickly. I think in a weird way, this is actually quite similar to the Bissouma that we saw like late last season when he wasn't a double pivot. I thought he was playing it a bit more safe and he wasn't taking as many risks. Whereas when when Ange first came, for example, like he was so risk. He was taking so much risk every time he got the balls, as if he's like has to beat someone and has to open the game up. And obviously he was brilliant, but then once those risks started going against him, all of a sudden he started getting caught out a lot. And I think late in last season, that Europa League run, he was a much more safer player, and I think it's much more closer to the player we're seeing at the moment. But I would love him to be a bit braver again, and I think he's probably turned the dial too much the other way, maybe because of all the criticism he gets for making mistakes and giving the ball away. And I think when we know he's at his best is when there's someone who's being a little bit more optimistic when he's on the ball.
Next up is Randall Kolo Muani. I gave him a 4. You guys, you gave him a 3, and you guys out there gave him a 3.8. I thought he started the game well. He had that chance. He was pressing well. He was getting himself in dangerous positions, but it just didn't last long. And he just weaned in confidence, started doing stupid things with the ball, passing it out of play, under-hit passes to his teammates. And outside of the first 5-10 minutes, he literally offered absolutely nothing to the team, and he got hooked at half-time. I think maybe De Zerbi actually saved him, for me, for getting an even lower mark, because if he would have stayed on the pitch for some of the second half and that performance started to continue, I would have probably marked him down on another one. But I just marked him up just slightly, just because he had a good start to the game.
Yeah, for me, obviously, hooked at half-time. No problem with it. Wasn't a good performance from him. How do we get the best out of him? How do we get that Muani that plays for France or was playing for Juventus or playing for Frankfurt? How do we get that into our team? Because at the moment, it seems like an impossible task. And that's the one that De Zerbi has to undertake. He's promised De Zerbi to, well, not promised, but he's clearly made a thing of it, isn't he? Like, I'm going to take him out for lunch, dinner, trying to, pump him up, trying to tell him how good he is. I think De Zerbi believes there's a player there, but hopefully in the last 4 games, we're going to need him now more than ever. So now's the time, Muani. It wasn't a good game for him, but now he's going to be our main attacker, and he's going to be one we're really relying. We're going to be turning to him at this point. So let's hope, with that increased responsibility, maybe he can rise. But right now, he's definitely sinking.
Yeah. Conor Gallagher, 5s all round for Conor. You guys have given him a 6.2. Yeah, it wasn't a great performance. I think off the ball, I think he provided what he was providing against Brighton, maybe just to a bit of a lower standard, but I think he was doing well in that aspect, winning his duels, running around and, like a headless chicken at times, but definitely providing an extra body. But, he's tasked in the team to be the number 10, to be that player that can contribute to the attack. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do anything close to that. At Chelsea, we saw him box crashing, taking shots from outside the area. Where is that Conor Gallagher? That's the Conor Gallagher I want to see on top of the good work that he's doing. Because he did do good work yesterday, like he did against Brighton. But we need to see more. We need to see more in the aspect of him providing a goal threat. And I don't see any of that in his play right now.
Yeah, which is obviously really surprising, because we've seen that in pretty much all the clubs he's been at, that he's always been someone who contributes in the final third. So the lack of quality we're seeing from him is very frustrating. He just doesn't seem to be that involved when we're in the final third. He seems to not be able to get on the ball. We don't see him taking shots. We don't see him attempting anything, let alone pulling anything off, which is I don't know, very confusing at the moment. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, is it a quality thing? But we're just not seeing enough of Conor Gallagher once we get near the opposition's penalty area. Off the ball, he did fine, but we want to see more from him.
Yeah. Xavi Simons, 5s all round for Xavi. You guys have given him a 6.6. Obviously, absolutely gutting in the manner that his game ended. There are some rumours about ACL, MCL. We don't know until we get further information. First half, I thought he wasn't really too involved in the game. I thought he came alive a little bit in the second half. Obviously, had that chance where he should be doing better, but he did such a good job to get into that position. And he was doing a few nice things, trying to hurt Wolves a little bit in the second half. But yeah, he needs to be having a lot more impact in the game. He's our chief creator. He's the one with the ability, and we didn't really see it yesterday.
Look, I think what we saw yesterday is what kind of with Xavi is the reality. He's going to be frustrating. He'll give the ball away, but he'll also, if you keep feeding it to him, he will make something happen. And I think he was starting to. Obviously, he missed that chance, and who knows if he would have stayed fit, if something he would have brought in something else later in the game. But also, what you'll get with him is he's going to be very frustrating, and he's going to give the ball away unnecessarily, and he's going to miscontrol the ball occasionally, and he's going to overhit passes. And when he has a whole game like that and nothing happens, you're going to be rightly very frustrated with him, because all he's done all game is give the ball away. But I think he's also a player where if you do keep feeding it to him, the chances are, if you give the ball to him 10 times, 3 or 4 times, he will do something, and he will have a shot. He will create a chance. And right now, that's better than anyone else is doing. But he's now injured, so we don't have that player. So we're going to lose that ability, that potential to even create anything now from him. So who's going to fill in his role? People who aren't even creating anything. Even if you give the ball in 10 times, they're going to give the ball away 10 times. Yeah. Rather than Xavi, who you might create something 3 times.
Yeah.
So
I think the stats bear it out for themselves in terms of the amount of times we win football matches with and without Xavi.
Yep. We haven't won any games, have we, without Xavi since he's come.
So that tells you everything you need to know, in my opinion.
It's a great stat, considering he's likely to miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's not a great stat knowing that. Next up is Dominic Solanke. 5s all round for Dom. You guys out there have given him a 5.2. Again, I thought he started the game really well. A lot of energy, winning his duels, bringing other players into play. He looked like he was really on it from the first 5-10 minutes. Obviously, he got taken off, on the 38th minute or something like that through an injury. Looked like he's got a muscle injury or tweaked his hamstring or something like that. But yeah, after the first 10 minutes, again, he didn't see much of the ball and he was kind of out of the game because, Wolves were kind of growing in influence a little bit, and in the first 10-15 minutes we were like camped out on their half, and then after that we didn't really see the ball in their half that much. So yeah, that was it. It wasn't great.
Yeah, obviously he went off 38 minutes.
Yeah.
So hard to judge him too much, but yeah, it wasn't a great 38 minutes from him. Didn't really get too much of it. I thought he battled well, but in terms of again being that goal threat, I didn't think he was as involved as he was maybe against Brighton. Even then, he wasn't that involved, but at least when he was involved, he was quite good. This time, didn't do too much on the ball, unfortunately. Battled with the centre-backs, but didn't... It's a shame he's injured, though, because I still think he's quite a big player for us. So the fact that he's injured is not great news, and it's just another attacker that we don't have options with. Obviously, Richarlison did come on. We'll talk about him in a minute, but... The difference between him and Richarlison is kind of Richarlison's always involved, just not much quality. Whereas Solanke's like sometimes he's in the game, sometimes he's out of the game, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Radu Dragusin, I mean, he just came on right at the end, so not much to talk about.
First appearance under De Zerbi, is it for him?
Yeah, I think it was. And look, he came out just to see the game out at 1-0. You guys given him a 5.2, but I don't know if he even saw the ball. Did he even touch the ball?
Probably not. Maybe a few headers away.
Trying to see how many touches he actually had. Not many. 4 touches.
4 touches.
So,
well, it helps see the game out.
Yeah. And next up is Joao Palhinha. 8 all round for Joao. Another big goal. You've given him an 8 as well. Look, he was there for us in a moment of need. At the back post, steaming in, puts the ball in the back of the net. Spurs get their first win in 2026, and we've got a lot to thank to Joao Palhinha.
And it's not the first time, is it? He's stepped up in a big moment and got a big goal. Albeit, I think what he did against Bournemouth, but it ended up meaning nothing. But he's done it at other moments where we've really needed him. So fair play to him. He is, because he's so physical and he's so strong, he is a very big threat from set pieces. So that is definitely a value he has. And he does cause a lot of... problems in the opposition box, and I don't think he came on and wasn't like particularly massively impressive, but look, he came up with a big moment, timed his one rail, stayed on side, and we got the win. So fair play to him. Of a lot of discussion this week whether he should stay or not, and it's a timely reminder of what he can do rather than what he can't do.
Yeah, and I think he could be really big for us in these last 4 games. I really believe that. Next up is Richarlison. I've given him a 5. You've given him a 6. 5.1 from you guys out there. I mean, I thought he was really disappointing for the most part when he came on. He lost the ball a hell of a lot of times. Always looks busy. But the reality is he helped us on our way to that victory because he grabbed the assist for Joao Palhinha.
Yeah, he had one shot, didn't he, which was really poor, which was well over the bar, wasn't it? It was a horrible effort.
I don't even think he had to shoot at that point. Like, I thought he just...
rushed it.
Yeah, rushed it way too much.
Sounds like Richarlison. But but to be fair, you look at the goal, as you say, it was a big moment, but he had to react very quickly. And I know it's probably a shot that's going wide, isn't it? But the ball is bobbling around in that penalty area, lots of bodies around, and he's got to react very quickly to get something on it, which forces the goal. And he seems to just have a knack of being in those positions, doesn't he? How many times that in the penalty area and the ball's just like dropping, he's just there, isn't he? He seems to smell those opportunities and smell where the ball's going to drop, and he just has this instinct. And it seems to happen so often.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why I'll probably prefer to see Richarlison play over Solanke anyway, because he's the one that showed that ability with that knack, with that... I'm not going to say killer instinct, because he doesn't have the killer instinct, but he's got the ability... more than Solanke has shown to put the ball in the back of the net and to be in that moments, in those killer moments. So that's probably, and this is what we need in these last 4 games, is someone that is going to be there. Solanke doesn't seem to be there.
I just think that's best for a super. That's perfect for a super sub. I would
Yeah.
say. But look, Solanke's injured anyway, so it's likely he'll have to start. which, look, is what it is. He is our top goal scorer. Did get a goal contribution as well, got an assist. So I think that's 14 goal contributions this season. I don't know if that's all competitions, but came on and got the assist. Didn't do too much else, but fair play to him.
Mathys Tel, 6s all round for Mathys. Look, I think he came on, looked busy, obviously won the corner in great fashion. Did a lot more than Muani did. So another case for him, albeit we got more injuries, so it's probably going to be a case for both of them for the last 4 games of the season. But yeah, I credit him for winning the corner, and he just looked busy.
Yeah, I think he'd obviously... the difference between him and Muani, I feel, is Muani just loses that confidence, or at least loses, like, once he's like, out the game, all of a sudden he goes within himself and he starts playing the ball backwards and whatever. Whereas Tel, it doesn't matter how many times he fails to be his fullback or how many times he gives the ball away, he's going to go
trying,
again.
yeah.
He's going to keep trying and keep going and keep running down blind alleys if that's what it takes. And obviously that's what won us the corner, which led to the goal. Just never say die attitude. The ball looked like it's going out. Maybe other players would have given up in that position, but he doesn't. He goes round the back of the defender, he keeps it on, beats the man and wins the corner. He just keeps going. Now, I can't say it was too much there, like, quality in terms of like, oh, he nearly scored, or he had this shot, or he set up this chance, but you know what? He didn't give up. And that's, you know, some other players you can't even say that. So
that's the kind of attitude we need in these last 4 games. We can't have players giving up. Last but not least is Lucas Bergvall, 5s all round from us. You guys have given him a 6.4. I mean, again, like, he came on, looked a bit busy, won the ball back a few times, but no real quality in his play going forward.
Yeah, but obviously came on the left-hand side, didn't he? Not a position that he... I mean, he has played there a few times, but not any great ability. So, harsh to judge him. I don't remember too much he did, to be honest, but no, in this game.
Not much. And last but not least, it is Roberto De Zerbi. It's harsh. It's hard to judge De Zerbi on this. Obviously, we didn't have a good game, so you know he's got to be getting better out of these players. He's only been here for 3 games, so it's hard, especially in the situation we're in, to really turn our fortunes around. But the reality was, we've won the game, and it's the first game we've won in 2026, so that's got to count for something. But I just felt like his changes were hampered by injuries that we got throughout the game. So his game management was definitely struck by that. So it's really hard to really judge De Zerbi, but I'm going to give him a 6 just because we won the game.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I guess one of his subs came on and scored, so you got to credit him with that. It's hard, isn't it? I didn't have a problem with the lineup. The only maybe change we were thinking is Tel for Muani, which he did rectify very quickly in that half time. As you said, the other players would, you know, Xavi goes down with an injury, Solanke goes down with an injury. What are you meant to do about that? Under the circumstances, obviously it was a frustrating performance, and it was very similar to the Sunderland game in that sense, where we didn't see many improvements. And you know, we probably played better in the Brighton game, we didn't win, and this game we probably played a lot worse, but we did win. That's football sometimes. So the fact he's got 4 points out of his first 3 games, considering the form we were in before, you've got to credit him with that. But I can't sit here and say we're fantastic. But yeah, I can't be, as you say, can't really be too critical of him. Can't really judge him too harshly at the moment.
Yeah, it's like you're looking at De Zerbi's time at Spurs so far with the 3 games that he's had. Like, particularly if you're judging it against Igor Tudor and Thomas Frank, like, since the turn of the year, how many games have we deserved to lose? Probably the majority of them. But since De Zerbi's come in, you know, you can't say hand on heart we deserve to lose any of those games, really.
In fact, you'd probably say, as you say, I think you'd probably say we've been unlucky. You probably say it should be 2 draws and a win.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that would give us 5 points. So we're probably a point worse off than we should be.
Yeah. All right, so that is our player ratings for the 1-0 win against Wolves. You know, I nearly said loss there. I mean, I'm so used to saying loss, but we have got over the line. We have got the 3 points. And let's get in